The Walmart FLW Tour Opens are known for being held at big bass lakes, and we start our fall season with two of the biggest at the same time, Lake Erie and Lake St. Clair.
St. Clair stud.
Can the General from B Branch, Arkansas find magic once again in the waters of St. Clair, or will he be outflanked by the local sticks who are ready to make a name for themselves?
19 pounds, 3 ounces. You're the new leader.
Whoa! It's rock and roll, partner.
It is all. That's what we come up here for.
Look at that, baby.
This place is the funnest place you've ever been in your life.
Put her in the good side.
Let's see your two best bass. New leader. Here we go, your Chorus Wood Cup champion.
The skyline is iconic, with GM headquarters rising high, and Detroit has the world rooting for its renaissance. Here in the late summer, the best anglers in North America have traveled to the Motor City with its rich cultural landscape to embark on their quest for victory against a tough field of professional anglers.
21 pounds, 6 ounces.
Bass fishing fans will recognize the Detroit River as the passageway between two awesome smallmouth fisheries, Lake St. Clair to the north and Lake Erie to the south.
Bass, big one.
For professional anglers who are accustomed to the shallow flipping techniques employed in the southeast, they can find themselves lost in a sea of epic proportions, sending baits down 15 to 30 feet deep looking for a 4-pound smallmouth. And then hanging on for the ride as these wiry, aggressive bass put up a fight like they were part sailfish.
Did you see that sucker jump? What a jump.
22 pounds, 14 ounces, a new leader.
At the end of day one, Ton Lee was surprised that his 22 pounds was leading the event. On day two, the skies stayed bright, the wind stayed down, and Bill McDonald showed just what Lake St. Clair was capable of by bringing in 24 pounds to lead the field. Now the question of who will prevail is about to be answered. It's the Walmart FLW Tour Open on the Detroit River, presented by the National Guard.
Hey everybody, Jason Harper, along with Chris Jones and National Guard pro Brent Ayler, who has a mile-long resume, won the very first season opener event of the major season on Lake Hartwell. And Brent, pleasure to have you with us to kind of break down the body of waters, and I say plural because there's so many options when you come to Erie, Detroit River, Lake St. Clair. I know St. Clair, not necessarily your best friend this week, but what is it about this area and St. Clair in general that has really been the bread and butter for the anglers this week?
You know, St. Clair's, it's easier to run around. You know, you really don't have to worry about the weather. You know, on Erie, if you go out there and it's blowing 30 miles an hour, you may not even get to your spot. On St. Clair, you can still get there. And the fish are easier to find there. There's, you know, a lot of shallow water there. The fish don't have as many places to hide. On Erie, you have a lot of deep water, a lot of deep structure. They can hide, they can move.
Come on.
It just seems to be easier to find them up in St. Clair.
Let's talk about the Bell River Hump. It's kind of been an area where we've seen some nice weights come out of for 2 days.
Yeah, you know, Lake St. Clair is relatively a featureless lake. There's really not much out there. It's just a bowl. You can run for miles and it's only 15, 16 feet the whole time. Bell River Hump is an actual point that runs underwater several miles out into the middle of Lake St. Clair. And the guys aren't really fishing right on top of that. They're fishing out on the sides. There's a lot of grass that's growing out on the sides. That grass is cleaning up the water. And those fish have all that flat stuff everywhere. They congregate to where there's a little bit of structure in the water.
Don't you think that's been a surprise? Because, I mean, come on, you got Lake Erie. That's where all the big stuff happens.
You know, I think it's really interesting to see how this thing's playing out, Jason, because you've got history telling you that the bigger stringers will come from Lake Erie. But you know what? Conditions tell you where you need to go on these big waters because it can be really, really rough. And you've got 4 guys fishing that same area. Bill McDonald, Spencer Sheffield, Shaniki Fukai, and the legend, Larry Nixon. It's going to put a lot of pressure in that area on those fish, Jason.
Fishing same spot, even these big lakes.
When you talk about that pressure, Brent, I mean, that's got to play some kind of mind game because, you know, you got this invisible area that's around you and you're trying to not only keep it safe for that one day, but maybe 4 days. You don't want anyone to move in on that spot.
You always have your sweet spot out there. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to try and float around and kind of move off the spot, let them rest a little bit, hopefully catch a few somewhere else. your fear is that you move off a little bit and let them relax, and one of those other guys is going to pull right in and start catching them again. So you really have to kind of try and defend your area as much as you can, but also try and get out and expand on it as well.
Wow, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Plus, you've got the pressure of some of those pros who are making that long run south to Lake Erie, guys like Joe Baylaw, Corey Johnston, John Cox. This is day 3. Only 20 anglers are going to be fishing on this 3rd day, but they're all trying to fit in that top 10 spot. Only 10 move on to the 4th and final day, and the top prize of $125,000.
It's more of an advantage to be a local on the Great Lakes systems than anywhere else. You know, this lake is 240 miles long and 60 miles wide, and that's just Erie. St. Clair is 25 miles by 25 miles. The Detroit River is 25 miles long, and the St. Clair River is 30 miles long. That's a lot of water we're allowed to fish. I can't imagine trying to dissect these lakes if you're a traveling guy that's never been here. It also wouldn't surprise me if a Larry Nixon type of guy won, because those guys really know how to fish and they know how to make good decisions, and they stay confident all day. I mean, they're the cream of the crop. Fish. Now that's more like it. Now. There, now we're cooking. We need 5 of those to stay in the game today. He's not a giant, but he's 3.5 to 3 3/4 pounds.
It's very intimidating coming up here. You know, the guys that live up here, they've got a huge advantage because, like I said, you know, I have no clue compared to what those guys in LAJ have. But I'm a flipper is what I do all the time. So, you know, fishing with spinning rods is a lot different for me. But just, you know, trying to figure out how they bite. You know, the fish tell you what they want. You know, our problem is we're too hard-headed and we want to fish them the way we want to fish them. Net. That'll work. Ain't as big as I'd like, but we'll take him. I ain't gonna be greedy. He's a caller.
There's one. That's a good way to start the day. 5, 5 1/4. Oh, dude, that's a giant.
That's what you come to St. Clair for.
The top 20 are going to bring their best smallies to the stage and find out who will fish on the final day. Snapple presents Real Facts. Chevy pro Larry Nixon competed in his very first bass fishing tournament back in 1977. He finished in 19th place in the Florida Invitational and won $600.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by Straight Talk. Cut your cell phone bill in half and feel richer. The 2012 Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, long-lasting full-size pickups on the road. Walmart. Save money, live better. Evinrude E-Tech. Power, performance, and 300 hours without maintenance. New Snapple lightly sweetened teas, made from the best stuff on earth. And by Castrol. It's more than just oil. It's liquid engineering.
Oh, there he is. Come on, 6-pounder.
Welcome back to the Walmart FLW Tour Open in Detroit, Michigan. There are a lot of fish to be found up here, and Texas pro Chris McCall already has a limit of smallmouth bass.
Go ahead and get the net, Tom. He'll probably call that little bitty one I got. These are babies, bad babies. Because I'm like 311 ahead of 10th. Continue to have a chance, I got to catch another 21 pounds probably.
Even though he has no idea how anyone else is doing today, McCall isn't that far off in his assessment, as the leaders are all pushing 20 pounds for the day, while Larry Nixon has topped 23 pounds.
It's been a long time since I caught a 6-pound smallie. Shin's got him another. You just got to fish your own ball game. And all week long, me and Shin's been about this far apart. You know, he hadn't come over here and bothered me. I've got a certain little trail up through here I'm fishing. 2 guys can fish big water like this, or 3, and never get in each other's way. And there's just a jillion fish out here. Hope it was a 6-pounder, not a perch. No, he ain't gonna call. Too skinny.
You know, when you're fishing around other boats, you know, like we are today, you know, it can get in your head if you let it, but you know, I'm not fishing against Larry and I'm not fishing against Shin, I'm fishing against these fish here. But, you know, if you just do your thing, you'll be all right. There we go. Good one. It's a good one. One more time. Third time's the charm. That'll work. That's what you come to St. Clair for.
I'm from Peterborough, Ontario, like northeast of Toronto. This is my first time I've ever fished this end of Lake Erie, but a lot of these Great Lakes are real similar, so you kind of know what to look for. So I think I definitely have a bit of an upper hand, but definitely not a local. There's a couple little guys.
Not bad for a semi-local, and Johnston looks to move on to the final day. Meanwhile, Spencer Sheffield is definitely not considered a local, but the young Arkansas rookie is staying in the hunt today.
I only come to St. Clair. I've always said I'll never put a boat on here. Fish are too sparse. They're just in certain little places, and the tournament will be one right here. I don't know who it'll be. I say one of us four for sure. There's just too many big ones out here. Got her, dude. Boy, she's pulling, digging. It's smallie. She is. Oh, dude, that's a giant. Oh, dude, she's over 5, easy. Ew. That's a big one. That's the one we were looking for. I had to get rid of that 3.5. Now I got about 23 pounds.
The end of the third day of competition marks the completion of the Co-Angler Tournament and the moment of truth on the big stage.
5 today worth 16 pounds, 8 ounces. Your champion is Dave Hasty of Toledo, Ohio. 20 pounds even has you in first place with 57 pounds and 11 ounces.
Boy, if I could win this tournament, it'd be incredible. I'd get out of my mom's house, move the family, we'd move somewhere.
19 pounds, 10 ounces. Your new leader is Chad Pipkins with 58 pounds, 11 ounces. 20 pounds, 13 ounces, 21 pounds even, 5 today. 23 pounds and 11 ounces. Wow!
Unbelievable. For me to win, I'm going to have a couple guys stumble. I mean, I think I can catch another good sack tomorrow, and hopefully I can catch a real big sack, but one of them's got to stumble.
Larry Nixon has a tremendous day 3 and takes over the lead by just 5 ounces. The rest of the top 10 is set for the final day of this Walmart FLW Tour Open.
Do you hear it? The water is calling.
Yeah!
Have you ever dreamed of becoming a tournament fisherman but didn't know where to start? Take your first step and visit fishflw.com. With compelling articles, videos, and a vast array of helpful advice, learn everything you need to know about how to get started. With nearly 200 tournaments a year, FLW is the largest tournament fishing organization in the world. They offer a full range of tournaments for anglers of all experience and skill levels. Tournament trails like the Walmart Bass Fishing League are the perfect opportunity for the novice or seasoned weekend angler to compete in their first tournaments. There's no previous tournament experience needed, and as a co-angler, you don't even need your own boat. With entry fees as low as $100, it's easy to find a tournament that's right for you. For more information, visit fishflw.com.
I'm so excited I don't know what to do, much less be leading the tournament. So I gotta go out there today and do what I've been doing, and hopefully it's my turn again.
I'm only 1.5 pounds back. You know, if today could be my best day that I've had out of the 3, then, you know, I'm looking at 22 to 23 pound sack.
Smallmouth are definitely a special breed of fish, that's for sure. They can make you or break you pretty quick. That's what we're catching one right there.
And they're off for the 4th and final day for the Walmart FLW Tour Open on the Detroit River. And even for these seasoned pros, a shot at $125,000 deposit into the bank account. The excitement goes up one more level.
Go win us a tournament, partner.
Hey everybody, Jason Harper back with National Guard Pro Brent Naylor and Chris Jones. And guys, here we are. Final day, man. The story is all about the general, Chevy Pro Larry Nixon. He's got to be amped up today.
Hey, what about Larry, Jason? He went from 7th place to 1st place. He's got a 5-ounce lead, and he's fishing as good as he ever has, he told me this morning. You know, he was in the water an hour before takeoff yesterday. He is ready to go, man.
Well, he won here back in 2001. It's been a while since he's won, and you know what it's like on Table Rock. A couple years ago, you had to protect that little sweet spot for 4 days, so you know what Larry's going through today.
Yeah, for sure. He, you know, he has a sweet spot out there. He has a lot of fish found. There's a giant school of fish there. You know, this is his tournament to win or lose. It really is.
Well, again, he's got other guys right there with him, Spencer Sheffield, Bill McDonald, who led on day 2, so he's got to be careful about that spot because they feel confident as well.
It's a great area, but you can't count out the Lake Erie guys, man. Joe Baylog, he knows Lake Erie as well as anyone. The wind's blowing, and that means he's not going to have any company out there with him today. He said when the wind blows, I can catch him. I can catch a 25-pound bag and possibly win this thing. You got Corey Johnston. He's been doing a lot of sight fishing out there over the first couple days. That's not going to play a factor today, but he knows how to catch them on Lake Erie too. Watch out for the Erie guys trying to make a comeback on this final day, Jason.
So what do you think about Erie? With the wind picking up, does that help or hurt the angler?
Both. Really, you know, Lake Erie is famous for having the fish bite better when it gets windy. The problem is, can you get there and can you get back? So there's a good chance that a giant stringer is going to be caught out there. It's just, you know, how bad is the wind out there? Are they going to be able to make it in? Are they going to be able to even make it there? You never know, but it could potentially go down out there.
With this whole week being such it's just as easy to catch 17 pounds as it is to catch 25 pounds, do you feel like the winning bag's going to be Erie or up north?
You know, I think it's going to happen up in St. Clair. I really do. You know, there's so many fish in those areas where those couple guys are fishing that it'd be hard for them to stumble. But those guys could catch 18, 19, 20 pounds, and Baylog could go and catch 25. He can win the tournament. So it's really a race right now, and who knows what's going to happen.
Can Larry Nixon, he's only got that lead by 5 ounces. Can he close the deal and walk away with another victory? Will the winning bag be up in those sweet spots up north St. Clair? Will it be in the big water of Lake Erie? That's the question, but I know they're all going to be 115% fishing for 8 hours trying to come out on top and take home that top prize of $125 grand.
You know, with the change in the weather, St. Clair can turn on and off just like the flip of a switch. So I don't wish any bad on anybody, but it could be a whole different world today.
We're going to have to approach it differently today. We're going to have to go up, start above and let the wind just blow us through the spot. Still be able to catch them, just not as quickly probably.
And I know these fish just roam around out here, so changed up, put a little heavier weight on so I can feel a little bit better down here on the bottom.
This is going to be a challenge for me. This much wind it's going to be extremely hard to hold in the areas.
Dang, it's rough. It's hard on an old man. Now, they may not bite so early this morning since it's windy, windy, windy. I'm glad I got a long shaft trolling motor. Never throw your first one back.
I started off in the river for the first 2 days. The third day, I had some stuff stashed back on St. Clair. Today, I went back out there, just skipped over my beginning river stuff and went back out there. Oh, there he is. It's all about decision making, and I still feel like I made the good decision. Oh, good one. Oh, yeah, that's a four almost. Oh, that's over. Oh, my net's stuck. Come on. What the? What a fool. I see these guys doing this on TV, and it cracks me up that they don't lose their fish or something. And here I am. Oh, that's a 5-pounder. He hit right at the boat too. That's a good way to start the day. Whew, 5 of those and it's gonna make it a fun day, and it's very interesting. Got her. Man, there's 5-pounders right here. Big sucker. Don't do it. Don't.
The bites are coming, and the wind is going to force everyone to adjust on this final day of the Walmart FLW Tour Open.
Man, is this wind making it tough. The rollers are from a different angle than the wind.
Dang, I believe it's getting rougher.
Nothing like riding a roller coaster while you're trying to fish all day. Go get some Dramamine.
Welcome back to the Walmart FLW Tour Open on the Detroit River. After 3 days of relative calm, the wind has come up on this final day. And the change in weather is playing a major factor for everyone, whether they're fishing Lake St. Clair or Lake Erie. Chevy Pro Larry Nixon and Ranger Pro Bill McDonald are both fishing the Bell River Hump in St. Clair and dealing with an area that has completely changed.
Man, that wind's changed the whole ball game.
Yeah, all during practice it was slick. Every day of the tournament, you know, we had a little bit of wind, but nothing like this.
Lake Erie is never calm for 4 days in a row, and it's been calm the last 3, so we were due for this.
I think we're gonna give this about another 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna head back down to St. Clair. Ate up a bit of our time coming out here, but those are the decisions you gotta make when you're out on big water like this. There's just no way we can get out to where we were supposed to fish.
One thing about it, when it gets this rough, it just messes with me. Everything I do is a pain. It's hard to rig a lure. I can't get my hands are wiggling. The boat won't hold still. When I catch one, I got to go figure out where I was at. That wind is hard, but it makes fishing good.
Both these lakes are pretty crazy. Anytime you get a big wind change, anything can happen. I've seen giant schools of fish leave and giant schools of fish show up. So some of the best days I've had are when it's rougher than this.
And local angler Chad Pipkins should know. He spent a lot of time on both lakes and has chosen to fish Erie even though he knows he'll get fewer bites.
It's crazy. We're not seeing thousands of fish like that in St. Clair, but just pitching around at little high spots. Got about 2,000 waypoints out here, and they get on little sections. And sometimes there's just 1 or 2 big ones, and they relate to each piece of structure. Hit enough of them, you hope to catch a good bag. There's one. Hey button, baby. Stay on there. Good one. There we go. It's a start. I've been in the same spot as I lost that other one, so. Finally, welcome to Lake Erie. After an hour and 10-minute ride. They need to get bigger though.
Evinrude Pro Spencer Sheffield started the day very confident in his area, but so far he hasn't been getting the bites and suspects the fish may have moved.
They've either moved or they're in a tighter bunch than they were because there's been some scattered ones. We'll switch to a crankbait and maybe locate them out here. They're here, I just haven't got on them yet.
Meanwhile, it's also been a slow start for Bill McDonald, who isn't far from where Spencer is currently.
Right now, I'm going to say the wind is not my friend. I know everybody else says when it blows, you can really catch them. Hasn't quite been that way for me yet. I just don't fish up here enough to adjust to it.
While Sheffield and McDonald struggle to locate fish, over on Erie, Corey Johnston has made a decision to abandon the rough waters of this inland sea and move to St. Clair.
The conditions are definitely a lot worse from the last 3 days. The last 3 days have been calm, sunny, hot, just what I needed because I was sight fishing. So this definitely doesn't help me. Can't see the fish, can't see what you're fishing. You just got to rely on your Lowrance electronics and mark some fish. Make sure you're on the hard bottom and we'll come across them. There's one. Yeah, just switched over to a drop shot from a crankbait and a tube, and maybe it's a drop shot deal today. We'll see. There we go. It's a start. Nice one.
Ever since I found out that they were putting this back on the schedule from when I was here previously in 2009, this was on my hit list because I love coming up here and catching these big smallmouth. I mean, it's just a thrill. It's not really a fishing tournament coming up here, it's more of a vacation. Big one. I got him whipped. I can just get him up here. Got him. Yes. Way to start. 3 1/4 at least.
Be a bass, be a big bass. Ain't as big as I thought he was, dang it. Not bad. Not big, but not bad. Yeah, he ain't much. I was throwing them back like him yesterday. Awesome ain't too awesome yet.
Tournament leader Larry Nixon is off to a better start than most this morning. He's already boxed 4 fish, but the quality hasn't really impressed him so far as he fishes the spot he labeled on his Lowrance as awesome.
It's an area where there's not too much of that sand grass is what's made this special little area so good. These old fish have basically just moved out here on a late summer pattern heading toward the middle of the lake, and this is just one of them areas where evidently they really like to feed at. There's a lot of little small minnows running around out here, big schools of them. You don't feel like much, partner. Oh, crap. Pretty ugly net job. That's 5, just no big ones yet. Now it's time to get the big boys.
The wind is blowing, and right now it's starting to favor Nixon. He won here before back in 2000. Could St. Clair produce his first tour victory in 5 years? Stay tuned.
Yes!
Erie, in general, it doesn't have the population of fish that St. Clair does. You don't catch nearly as many fish when you go to Erie, but usually they're real big. The fishing is a lot tougher now. They're pretty old and they're pretty smart, and they've seen a lot of baits, and they've been through the tournaments. They've got the program, so you got to really get dialed in, and you have to be able to know, the little intricacies of how to get them to bite. But there's some huge fish in Erie. It's got to be the best trophy smallmouth lake in the world.
10 anglers are trophy hunting on this final day of the Walmart FLW Tour Open, and the battle lines have been drawn. It's Lake Erie versus Lake St. Clair, and the FLW Touring Pros versus the local sticks. Woo! So far, Chevy Pro Larry Nixon has held on to the lead, fishing the magic spot he's sharing with Bill McDonald, and Cheez-Its Pro Shin Fukai on St. Clair. While the locals are spread out all across Erie and St. Clair, and their local knowledge could be the difference as everyone tries to adjust to the blustery conditions.
St. Clair is a real interesting lake. It's one of those lakes where as soon as the weather changes and you're on fish, those fish can move anywhere. Like they could be a mile away the next day, and you got to find them. I find on Erie, they don't move as much. When you find those fish, they're going to be there.
And I am marking fish. I'm marking them right where they're supposed to be, right on the break. I need these fish to bite, man.
It's been one of those tournaments. Been around some good fish, just haven't fished really clean. Lost a couple good fish a day, and you're not getting a ton of bites. It's definitely don't want to do that. Do it, don't. Oh, yeah. I'll get you sick to your stomach quick, more so than the waves.
You're fishy, fishy, fishy.
Local pro Joe Baylog loves fishing Lake Erie, but after a rough ride out this morning, he didn't make the first cast until 9:15, almost 3 hours after takeoff.
Oh yeah, today I couldn't get anywhere this morning. It took so long, and I've spent so much time running. I kind of dug myself in a hole first thing. But it is so hard to make those runs and then settle in and actually have your head about you, because you feel like you're behind the 8 ball when you don't start fishing till 9. The guys up in St. Clair said they'd had 20 pounds by 9. But it's worked in my favor in the past. We'll just see.
Fish, big sucker. Oh man. Oh man.
Don't come off. Don't come off.
Here, buddy. Just like that, just like that, just like that, just like that, just like that. Good start. Not a giant, but a good start. Woo! That felt good.
Now we go back to St. Clair, where current leader Larry Nixon is starting to lose faith in his key spot that he's been sharing with Fukai and McDonald.
I ain't had a bite in a while. I just don't think it's gonna happen here today. I had a feeling yesterday when the quality of the fish went way down that a lot of the great big ones were tired of being harassed and swam off somewhere else.
One place they've been swimming to today is into Shin Fukai's net. He's already landed 5 solid keepers, and he's looking for more as both Nixon and McDonald try to ignore Shin's success and instead focus on what they need to be doing.
Shin's got him one. No matter, I just got to catch what I can catch. You know, when you're tournament fishing, you can't worry about everybody else. It's you and the fish.
Yeah, main thing's just always trying to stay focused. This wears on you when you're out here like this, fighting the wind, the weather, lack of bites. You just got to grind them out and figure out they move a little bit here and there and go locate them again. There we go. That's a good one, real good one. I cast out there that time, and when I picked up, it was on there. He just hit it on the drop, evidently, or seen it falling and picked it up while I was there. That'll work. Thank you, Lord. That's why you come to Lake St. Clair right there, buddy. And 100,000 other reasons that I'd like to be a part of.
While McDonald, Fukai, and Nixon make their drifts across the Bell River Hump on St. Clair, local pro Chad Pipkins is running and gunning as much as the conditions will allow on Lake Erie.
Well, I'm trying to cover water. You know, the fish are moving around a lot right now. And I'm doing the best I can at trying to be where I'm trying to meet them in the middle here, because the really good structure they don't seem to be on, they just seem to be around it. Right now there's a lot of fish roaming around, but they still use these same places to feed. So if we can just get some timing going and be at the right place at the right time, we can make something happen pretty quick. Fish, fish, big one. Stay pegged, baby, stay pegged. Oh, it's a big one. Yeah, baby. There we go. Woo! Yeah. Finally, we got one of the right ones. Woo!
I've had a lot of education on this lake from a good friend of mine. Spent many a days out here learning how to fish St. Clair. Ain't nothing but a big stock pond. The problem is the whole thing's good. As long as you're in sand or rocks, there's fish in this lake somewhere, everywhere. Be big, baby. Golly bum, did you see the size of that? Holy camole. That is got to be a daggum 5-pounder. He was huge. Jeez, oh Pete, I can't even lift him in the boat. Yes! There's a cullfish. That's what you call a St. Clair stud. Look at that thing. Whew.
Larry Nixon finds what he's been looking for. Like he said, this lake is filled with bass, and all of our anglers are starting to find them. Stay tuned.
Yes! Woo! Baby steps are getting bigger, baby. Come on.
The Walmart FLW Tour is brought to you by National Guard. Always ready, always there. Mercury Marine. Everstart. Fish more, worry less. Plano, America's favorite tackle boxes. Lowrance and the new faster HDS Gen 2 with optional structure map view. And by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time.
Come on, 5. A big 5. I'm scared somebody's gonna catch him a 22 or 23 pound bag. I got to have another big one.
Welcome back to the Walmart FLW Tour Open on the Detroit River. It's been a battle all day for our top 10 anglers as they fought through tough conditions in their quest for trophy smallmouth. Local pro Chad Pipkins has had a solid day out on Lake Erie and jumped up the leaderboard, while fellow local Joe Baylog has found less luck on the big water. Meanwhile, Corey Johnston started out on Erie, but the big waves pushed him back to St. Clair, where he hasn't been able to locate a big bite. Spencer Sheffield has had his toughest day of the tournament, but he knows there are big fish on the Bell River hump. Shiniki Fukai is proof of that, as he's landed almost 20 pounds today in the same area. While Day 2 leader Bill McDonald hasn't seen the school of fish he knows could be within a few hundred yards of his bait. Chevy Pro Larry Nixon has one big one in the boat, but the legendary angler is looking for one more to seal the deal and capture a second title on St. Clair.
Crunch time, fish. I need another big one badly. I think I'll go get my buoy and go over that way a little ways and make a fresh drift.
I'm telling you, it's so funny how much it's changed. Went from getting 80 to 100 bites a day to only getting 10 bites a day. It's either gonna be like this all day or they're gonna start biting. Got you, sucker. Yeah. It feels good to finally get a good one in. One more like it. I mean, this is a spot where I've caught all my weight every day. They just weren't here this morning.
Winning St. Clair would be a very big deal to me because I hadn't won an event in about 5 or 6 years. And, you know, I love this lake and I'm kind of getting down on my confidence. So to me, man, I'm ready for a win. I'm sick of not doing good. Come on, fish, I need another big one. Dadgummit, I don't want to lose, I'm too close. He's a big one. I mean, he is a lunker. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, I got him. Ah, he ain't as big as I thought he was. Heck, he ain't even I don't think he's even going to call, partner. I don't think 3.7's what I got. Yeah, they ain't no need to look at that no more. Gee, many Christmas. Where you at, Moby?
Larry Nixon and Shin Fukai have both moved off the spot they shared with Bill McDonald, but the Day 2 leader is still working his drop shot, hoping to land one of the big fish that he knows has to be close.
I come way on out off the end of it here. We haven't fished this quite as hard as I have up closer up there where everybody else was, but I'm just trying to get a big bite out here. You know, you hate to leave an area where you know there's big fish at it. You know, like I said, I caught a 5.8, a 5.10 right here. I mean, this is exactly where the 25-pound string come from. You know, it's a game of decisions. Do you make the right one or do you make the wrong one? That's the whole key. There we go. Just come through one of them little grass clumps. Load it up. Thank you, Lord. Number 5. Not a big one, but it's number 5 anyway. Hopefully the best fish is yet to come.
Waiting for some magic.
Out on Erie now, and Chad Pipkins, who's had a great season so far this year, winning on the co-angler side back at Beaver Lake this past spring, and having a strong showing here in his very first FLW tournament as a pro is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, this year's been awesome. It really has. Winning that tournament kind of solidified me going to the front of the boat full time next year. And just getting in here and making a top 10, it means a lot to me, especially being around my friends and family.
Come on, baby, one more bite. Stay big. Stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down. Don't jump. Don't do it. Oh, it's a big one. Come on. Oh my God. Yes! Woo! There we go. Gah. Baby steps are getting bigger, baby. Come on.
There's been a lot of action late in the day here on Erie and St. Clair, and now it's time to take them to the scales and see who will walk away a champion. Can Nixon prevail, or will a local sneak in and steal the crown? Find out next. It's the Walmart FLW Tour Open on the Detroit River, and time on the water is over as the top 10 pros consider their chances at the end of the day.
I threw the drop shot the whole tournament. Well, I drug it more than keeping the rod up and shaking it the whole time.
I wish I would have covered more water today. I really wish I would have just took a crankbait and just threw it from start to finish.
I'm scared. I just didn't get the bites today that I got the last 2 days. You know, I'd leave the door open for somebody to catch 20, 21, 22 pounds and pass me right up.
From Holt, Michigan, you guys welcome Ranger Pro Chad Pipkins.
Looking for 17.7. 5 today worth 19 pounds, 3 ounces. You're the new leader, 77 pounds and 14 ounces, all from Lake Erie.
There you go, some hometown love. You guys welcome to the stage from Bismarck, Arkansas, Ranger Pro Spencer Sheffield.
Big stringers every day. Got him in 3rd place coming into today with 62 pounds and 15 ounces. Here we go, looking for 14.15. A limit worth 14 pounds and 13 ounces. 2 ounces short. That close. 2 ounces. Wow.
All the way from Greenwood, Indiana, Ranger Pro Bill McDonald.
Day 2, the heaviest bag of the tournament. 25 pounds and 2 ounces. To take the lead from Chad Pipkins of Michigan and to put yourself in contention for the win, you're going to need 13 pounds and 12 ounces. A limit worth 14 pounds, 8 ounces. You're the new leader, 78 pounds and 10 ounces. Lake St. Clair smallmouth bass this week for Billy McDonald.
Oh, this is fun. Be big, baby. Golly bum, did you see the size of that St. Clair stud?
You guys welcome to the stage former Classic champion, the General, the National Guard leader bag, Larry Nixon.
Thousands of miles of water on Lake Erie, the Detroit River, and Lake St. Clair, and you guys watched each other for 4 days. All right, here we go. The Chevy Pro Larry Nixon of Beaver Ranch, Arkansas, the legend. In 3 days, he's totaled up 64 pounds and 7 ounces of Lake St. Clair bass. He needs, for the win, 14 pounds and 3 ounces. 5 bass limit for Larry Nixon. Worth 20 pounds, 4 ounces, 84 pounds and 11 ounces of Lake St. Clair bass.
Chevy Pro Larry Nixon, your Detroit River champion, $100,000 richer.
You know, I've done this in my 36th year. Can you believe that? Fishing competition for 36 years. Greg Scott and Steve Clapper, they both taught me a lot about fishing this lake, and it is an extremely difficult lake to fish if you don't know a little something about it. It's simple, really. You just turn your boat loose and drift till you find them. But you got to find the right area to do that in. And, you know, wherever you find the brim, you find the bass. And I want to say a special thanks to my family at home. I'm just in total shock.
The General,
Mission accomplished on the Detroit River.
Congratulations to all of our competitors this week, and Larry Nixon solidifies his place as a bass fishing legend with his 18th victory here in the Motor City. Remember, FLW is the best in fishing on and off the water. So go to FLWOutdoors.com for expanded coverage and tips from our top pros. On behalf of all of us here at FLW, thanks for watching.